Hello fellow FPL managers and welcome to a video looking at Game Week 5. We are welcoming back Premier League football after the international break. But before we go forward, let's take a look back at Game Week 4. So finishing on just 52 points, slightly below the average. I was punished by the likes of Aguero, Vardy, Aubameyang and Kane, while Sterling contributed nothing towards a 4-0 beating of Brighton. So I had pictured a difficult week, and had it not been for De Bruyne, a late Dean assist and a lovely goal/assist by Trent Alexander-Arnold against Burnley, it would have been a really poor week. So moving on to Game Week 5, and I am expecting a much better performance here. I think I've got quite favourable fixtures going into this game week. The transfer has been made. You can see Emerson has had to make way for Otamendi. Emerson came off with a knock during the Italy game, and I feel that Otamendi at 5.4 million at that price with those City fixtures was too big to ignore. I will certainly be wanting Emerson back in this side though in a couple of weeks. However, with Rudiger and Kante coming back, they're doing match fitness like with the reserves and things now. And after the next two game weeks, they've got Wolves and then Manchester United. But after that, Chelsea have a good fixture on. So then I'll be looking to bring Emerson back into the side. Sterling is going to take the captain's armband with me this week. It wasn't as tough as I thought it was going to be. Newcastle could prove like a stubborn opposition like they did against Spurs for Salah and company. However, Norwich have a lot of defenders out injured, and they've also conceded the most goals in the season so far in the Premier League, shipping in 10 goals in just 4 games. Saying that every single week so far this season, when I've had to choose between Sterling and Salah, I have made the wrong decision, but I do feel that the decisions I've made have been right, just not the results. So with Norwich not having any defenders and Newcastle proving like a stubborn defensive outfit when they're away from home against big sides, I think Liverpool and Man City are going to have really good game weeks. I do think Liverpool could still win 3 or 4-0, but I just feel it's going to be a really big one with Man City against a Norwich side that not only leaked goals anyway, the most in the Premier League, but now they don't even have those defenders that leaked goals, so surely the defence is going to be a little bit more leakier. Having a look back now at the Game Week 4 predictions, and it actually wasn't too bad. Watford managed just a 1-1 draw, but still look hugely uninspiring in general. Whilst my guess on Everton against Wolves being too predictable and both teams most likely scoring turned out to be correct in a way, I felt like it would be 1-1, but the 3-2 game was quite actually a thriller with Richarlison actually bagging a brace. It was a good game, but I don't think there's a lot of people with assets out there that enjoyed that one. Sterling, as mentioned before, blanked despite a dominant City performance where the Ginger Prince KDB and super striker Aguero scoring big. Aubameyang carried on his good run against Spurs with a goal, whilst Vardy bagged a brace against Bournemouth with one of the 2 goals being an absolutely lovely peach of a volley from far out. The Barnes train was temporarily stopped by Matip and Van Dijk as he blanked at home to Liverpool. And a surprising blank came for Lanzini. Now, I have mentioned before that Emerson feels like an unlucky player right now in terms of FPL, not getting the points on the board, but I feel like the Argentine can consider himself even more unlucky not to be so high-flying in FPL so far this season, because he's actually second in terms of chances created, just behind Kevin De Bruyne. So hopefully he'll start to rack up a few more points. He's not doing too bad this season, but I just feel like he could do a bit more against Aston Villa this week. So he is still in my side, so I'm hoping he is going to come good this week. And finally, we round off with Tammy Abraham, who bagged a brace against a resilient Sheffield United side who clawed it back to 2-2 despite being 2-0 down. Moving on to the Game Week 5 picks and predictions, and the first one I'm going to suggest is to avoid Wan-Bissaka, currently the second most transferred out player this game week with 232,000 transfers out, and he's also carrying a yellow flag. But whether or not the United right back actually plays, either him or any United asset right now is someone that I would be avoiding, especially in defence, and especially against a Leicester side with an informed Jamie Vardy. And just as an additional information, so Wan-Bissaka is the second most transferred player out. The first most transferred player out so far this game week, this round for Game Week 5, is Rashford. Next up is going to be Norwich for the the reasons why I mentioned before. So not only have they conceded the most goals, now they have a huge injury crisis. So I expect a huge score for City at Carrow Road this weekend. And finishing off the avoids, I'm sorry, but it is still going to be Watford. So Javi Gracia was canned and replaced by an old Watford boss in Quique Flores Sanchez with just 4 games gone. And to think, 5 games ago was the FA Cup final. But this isn't the first rash decision that Watford has, or strange decision Watford has made in terms of a managerial appointment. I actually remembered this, that when they were promoted in 2015, Slavica Jokovic, I'm not going to say his name right, but he was the manager that actually got them promoted in that season in second place. I think it was second place, or was it the playoffs? But either way, he got them. I know he got them promoted, and then just before the season started, he got sacked and was replaced by the now manager Quique Flores Sanchez. So it's not the first time that they've made these decisions. Some will argue that Watford's poor form started in the second half of last season, but either way, a poor start and a new manager is far too volatile for me to be touching any Watford asset right now. Moving on to the picks, very simple, Aguero, or honestly any attacking City player. And again, going back to Norwich's problems, but also Man City are looking so good right now. So you could choose Aguero, Sterling, Kevin De Bruyne, or even a cheeky go at David Silva, but you're really going to be picking one of those 3 for the captain's armband this week. Firmino is a little bit of a different option to back Liverpool at home to Newcastle. He's largely ignored due to that no man's land 9.5 million tag that he's got, but the Brazilian flair man is actually the joint 5th best forward striker so far this season, and with a possible rift between Mane and Salah, it actually could be Firmino who profits from points because of this situation, this weird situation now that's only really coming out to the front between Mane and Salah this season. So Firmino could be the one that sort of sneaks in and gets even more points. Next up, it's Arsenal man Ceballos. The Spaniard looks set to start this time with Xhaka and Torreira having possible injuries. And the 5.7 man could have a good run of points if he can stay in that side, if he can avoid that Emery rotation. With Arsenal facing a favourable fixture run up until about game week 17, he got a fantastic hockey assist, the assist of the assist in the first international break Spanish game that they had. He did a lovely outside the foot curl ball round. So for such a low price, 5.7 million, you're getting a top 6 attacking midfielder who has got bags of talent. If you can just stay in the side with the good run of fixtures they've got on that price, I think is a fantastic option. And finishing off with plays to risk, and the first one, Son is number 1. 2.6% ownership for the 9.5 million South Korean. He could be a great differential if you want to bring him in or even captain in with Spurs facing Crystal Palace at home. I do expect though Crystal Palace to be playing very, very defensively like they did at Old Trafford, but I do still see Son grabbing at least an assist. Despite West Ham's nice looking fixtures and Hallier scoring 3 goals in 2 games, the 7.5 million frontman is only owned by 6.2% of managers. So Monday Night Football away to Aston Villa could increase the Frenchman's tally. He could increase his tally there before the Hammers play United and then Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. And in all 3 of those games, you could see Hallier getting something. United's got a frail defence, Bournemouth's got a frail defence, and Palace, you would argue that West Ham would be favourites for that game. Finally, Alex Iwobi has looked exciting when he's been brought on for Everton. And with the Toffees scoring more goals in one game with him playing than they had in the previous 3 games, I'd be very surprised if we don't see Iwobi starting from the start this time. So 5.9 million midfielder against a leaky Bournemouth defence, and he's only just got 1.8% ownership. And that could be a good return on a player that's looking quite exciting. He's in the Everton attack line, and Everton still have decent fixtures until around game week 14. So that's going to be my wrap up of game week 4 and my look and predictions towards game week 5. Let me know in the comments below some of the players that you want to predict, avoid, or take a risk on for this game week. Who do you think is going to bang? Do you see any other captaincy choice except at Manchester City playing against Norwich? Do you think that it is going to be Liverpool that are going to outscore it, or have you got a completely left field idea. You're going to back Harry Kane. He has just scored a hat-trick, albeit two of them were penalties. Do you think he's going to carry on that form and bag a few against Crystal Palace? Is Aubameyang the person who you're most afraid of with that nice run of Arsenal fixtures? Let me know in the comments below what you guys are thinking. I'm looking to stream again on Friday around lunchtime or just after lunchtime. That'll be GMT UK time and evening time for me. I'm +8. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a good one.